Hi, welcome back to the channel and thank you for joining me. So today, a bit of a return to my roots, so to speak. A very kind of core thing to my musical taste over the years. Phil Collins' Face Value. Now, obviously this was Phil's first solo album, released in February '81. I had been a Genesis fan for some years by that point in time, and Genesis were my kind of first favourite band, and that extended into Peter Gabriel's solo albums, Steve Hackett's solo albums, Tony Banks' solo albums, and Mike Rutherford's solo albums at that point in time. And yeah, it was good to see Phil come out with a solo album as well. And of course this came out about best part of a year, but sort of 9-10 months after Peter Gabriel's third album, where Phil Collins played drums. And as many of you know, that album, it was astonishingly good. It was actually the first gig I ever went to see was Gabriel in 1980 on the third album tour. And Phil Collins' drum sound on that album was just legendary, really. I believe they called it gated reverb, which is something that Peter and I think producer Steve Lillywhite came up with between them, and it was that sort of it was used on, I don't remember, well, you know, Intruder throughout the album, really. Also famously, Gabriel banned the drummers, which was Collins and Jerry Marotta, from using cymbals too. So it was, you know, Gabriel 3 was a real monumental landmark of an album, which of course Phil was playing drums on, and you know, Phil's entry into the world of rock and roll was playing drums for Genesis. So he's kind of reunited with his old sort of band leader, if you like, of old, and put back into his original position, which, you know, was drummer rather than lead singer. And the result was just an astonishingly good album. I mean, you know, Gabriel 3, possibly my favourite of the Peter Gabriel albums, possibly. It's hard to choose, really. But I think the biggest hitting. So this is my original copy of Face Value, which I bought on the day of release, which I say was 30th of May 1981. And it was just amazing. I mean, we've got, you know, In the Air Tonight, the album opens with, which is just, again, just dripping with Peter Gabriel on this. And in addition to sort of, you know, Phil on drums, which obviously we've got on the Gabriel album, we've also got John Giblin on bass, who I believe played on Gabriel 3. I'm pretty sure John Giblin played live with Gabriel, so that's who I would have seen with him in 1980 on that tour. I mean, In the Air Tonight, everyone knows it. Everyone knows the sound, you know, that sort of very spacious kind of Roland drum machine sound to start off with. And then kind of halfway through, you know, it's very Gabriel-y to me. And then sort of halfway through the songs, you get Phil on his proper kit, you know, sorry, as I don't remember, but you know what I mean. And it's just stunning, a stunning audio. You know, just it's stunning. It's absolutely fantastic. This Must Be Love, which is, you know, kind of quite indicative of where Phil was going to go after this album. It got more and more sort of poppy, soul-y kind of, you know, love songs and the like. And then Behind the Lines, I believe, was the first time a Genesis song had ever been covered, and boy did Phil cover it well. I mean, it's, you know, with the Earth, Wind and Fire horns, and it just really funked it up, and funk, that was with an N, funked it up, and just amazing. The Roof is Leaking, and then probably my favourite two songs on the album, Droned and Hand in Hand, both instrumental songs, and again, just, in my opinion, absolutely dripping with the essence of Peter Gabriel's third album, or it's. I think that was seriously influential on Phil Collins, and of course also on Kate Bush, who similarly sung on that album, and credited Phil on her next album, which was Never Forever. Sorry, credited Peter on her next album, Never Forever. It was an incredible time, and then we get on to side 2. I Missed Again. You know what I mean. Very, very tender. Thunder and Lightning. Again, a phenomenal track. I'm Not Moving. If Leaving Me is easy. And then again, another favourite of mine on the album, Tomorrow Never Knows, which is a Beatles song, which is just like Drones, like Hand in Hand. I think very, very, very Gabriel influenced, and just stonkingly good. So, let's get on to the subject of this Analog Productions Atlantic 75-year anniversary issue, which is done with it by Acoustic Sounds. It's mastered by Chris Bellman at Bernie Grundman Mastering, and cut 45 RPM and pressed at QRP. So all the elements are there for a stupendous release. Now, as you'll know from previous videos, I'm not a great fan of albums being split up into 2 half sides at 45 RPM. And the same was the same applied with this. This is the first, I think the first release. I got this along with the Mingus of these Atlantic 75s, but I have to say, cut to the chase, this is astonishing. Now, how does it compare with the original? Because I started off with this listening. I probably haven't listened to this album in earnest for probably maybe a year. So I put this on, and it just blew me away, because I'd forgotten how absolutely incredible this is. And I say this is a first issue. I've had it for since 1981. It's in splendid condition, absolutely splendid condition. It sounds superb. It really, really, really does. And you're kind of listening to this and you're thinking, well, can it sound actually any better? Is there room for it to sound better on the Acoustic Sounds Atlantic 75 issue? And on first listen, the answer was yes. It is more dynamic, without a question. The background is quieter, without question, which kind of all aids that thunderous dynamism of the music. Fundamentally, the bass goes deeper, and the bass is deeper and far clearer. The stop-startedness, if you like, of the music, it really is stunning. In terms of layering and the sound stage, all that kind of thing, to be honest, it's better than the original. But don't get me wrong, this is a stunning sounding record in its first original issue. There is very, very little to criticise, and in that respect, do you need the better one? Do you need this new one? It does sound better, that's all there is to it, but it took a little while to really get into. I think the first listen, I was aware of the increased dynamics and the increased clarity, particularly around the bass guitar. But the vocals, it's almost sort of sound just a tiny little bit pinched. There's, I think it's the beginning of Droned. There's a couple of sort of, again, very Gabriel-esque, kind of almost glockenspiel kind of sounds. not sure if they're wood or ceramic, but it's sort of a percussion anyway, and they sound less Gabriel-y, if you like, on the 75th anniversary. As I say, Phil's voice maybe sounds just a little bit pinched, but Phil has got quite a frail voice. I don't mean that negatively. It's just, I think he has got quite a frail, sort of sensitive voice, and that does sort of come across. And the only other thing I would say about the whole album, it is brighter. There is no question, it's brighter. And on my first listen, I was kind of thinking it's superbly detailed. It's superbly dynamic. Just unbelievably so. And I felt maybe on the first listen, it was just erring towards a sort of kind of fluorescent LED, kind of bluey, kind of hospital light, if you like. And the original was more of a sort of a autumn golden natural glow. And there is a difference in sound here, a difference in EQ. The original is a little warmer, is a little richer, and is a little sort of softer. But I'd say second listen and subsequent listens to the new one, I think you just get over that difference. It is a little bit brighter. Well, it's noticeably brighter, but it's not too bright. Put it like that. And it's just stunning. I mean, it really, really, really is stunning. And things like the sort of the use of the sort of the Roland drum machine, and then Phil's own natural drums. The differences you can tell the differences. I'm sure you could if you listened to it on MP3, to be honest. But when he comes in with his own natural acoustic drums, it's not just that. It's the sort of the way you can hear what his feet are doing with the sort of damping and sort of things like that. It's just it's really, really, where on the skin of the drum he hits each drum. You can hear the bass drum kick, the kick drum, just with much more weight and solidity. And there are a few points on here which is really fundamental. And it's interesting because, I said earlier, Droned and Hand in Hand are two of my absolute favourite songs on this. And Droned particularly, it sort of starts off, again, you've got this I keep harping on about Gabriel, but I will do, that's all there is to it. I'm sure the influence on Phil Collins was enormous, and I'm sure Phil Collins would admit that. But you've got these sort of congas and percussive sort of elements sort of just filling the soundstage at the beginning of Droned. And then there's this massive, big, deep kind of bass note, which I'm guessing is this Prophet synthesizer. But it's really sort of, that it underpins the whole song. And on the original, it's kind of, it's a bassy sort of droney sort of beneath the music kind of thing. But it's not actually particularly bassy. There isn't really that much deep bass on that original cut. On here, it really, really hangs in as a deep sort of, you've just got this sort of body above which is just like pyrotechnic kind of congas and percussive elements just flying around like crazy, and it's just incredible. And then you go from Droned into Hand in Hand, which is again it's kind of quite similar. It's instrumental. You've got this real kind of thundering sort of passion and pace to the song, and then again halfway through Phil comes in with his sort of natural drum kit again, just with the most phenomenal kind of drum roll across the kit, which I just I don't think he would have done if he hadn't played on Gabriel 3. It's just absolutely stunning, it's yeah. I think that's really the sort of the essence of the album. I mean, again, you've got with this. Okay, so it's a double 45. So you've got In the Air Tonight, It Must Be Love, Behind the Lines. That's side 1. Roof is Leaking, Drone, Hand in Hand. That's side 2, for instance. So, whereas on the original album, you've got these two phenomenal songs, phenomenally powerful and just utterly incredible songs at the end of, or should I say songs, they're instrumentals, but you know what I mean, compositions, tracks at the end of side. And then the same with here, Tomorrow Never Knows. It's just massive, kind of psychedelic, droning, kind of worldy, just a phenomenal thing. It's, you know, they become quite an intense, thick thing on the original. But of course that's what we've listened to for 40 years. 42 years, is it? You're hearing them fresh here, and you're hearing them better than you've ever heard them before. It's incredible. Now, £70 for this album. It's it is full on audiophile quality. There's no question. Got a numbered copy here, 1990, which is kind of quite cool. 1981 would have been a better, I suppose, but there we go. So yeah, I got numbered copies. It's pressed at QRP. It's a stunning record. For the money, it's stunning. I was in two minds about this whole thing because, I mean, with this Atlantic 75, the biggest things for me is the release of these Genesis albums, which, Genesis was my first favourite band. Now it's actually just come out in the States now, selling them by the pound. I've got a Japanese copy and I've got an original UK copy. I'm gonna have to get the Acoustic Sounds version of that. There's no question. The Lamb, that's a what is it? A quadruple album. I mean, I'm not sure about that, but I'll probably will. I think one of the ones I'll look forward to most will actually be, and then there were three because I've got a first day of release UK original, and it's not a well produced. It's not a great sounding. It's very kind of bright and bit bass light album. And I'm sure they can do a better job of that. So that's the one I'm really, really looking forward to. I'm not 100% convinced it's in the list, actually, but I think it is. I hope it is. I'll have to double check that. But I'll probably buy them all, the Genesis ones, on the strength of this. And then In Excess X again, which is just a magnificent album. Just how much better can it be? I can only imagine having heard this. So, yeah, this was my first of this series. I'm absolutely blown away by it. I did take the second listen to just sort of, because it's not absolutely 100% better in every respect. If it was just that little bit less bright, so that it was a similar kind of top end tonal balance to the original, I'd have given it 11 out of 10 rather than 10 out of 10, if you see what I mean. But it's absolutely stunning. But one of the things it really, really has reminded me of, which I, frankly kind of forgotten over the years, is how absolutely astonishing this original album is. And if you haven't got it, if you can't afford £60-70 or whatever it is for the analog production one, I mean, I've looked around, you can easily pick up a good quality one of these for between £10 and £20, £20 should get you something that's like in excellent condition on the second-hand market, and even in its own, you know, original 33 RPM format, it is a stunning sounding record. You know, well done Phil Collins, well done Chad, and well done for hanging there with me if you've watched all the way through so far. So once again, Atlantic 75th anniversary, Acoustic Sounds, absolutely astonishing. Can't recommend it enough. Okay, on that note, I'll say cheerio, bye for now, and I'll see you all again soon. Thanks. Bye. Bye.